Hey, what's going on, y'all? So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to accurately get B2B agency clients using Facebook ads. So just to start off, this is the same thing that we do for all of our clients as far as the strategy we use in order to book appointments for them. And we practice what we preach. What you're looking at now is a look into my ads manager account that I'm currently running. Like, look, it's active right now. It's currently spawning clients for us out of thin air. We're doing $50 a day. What I want to note here, so website schedule, this is an appointment booking. I'll get more into exactly how we're setting this up, but we've got 18 qualified booked appointments for this. Qualified in our eyes, meaning above $10,000 a month. Now, I specifically have this funnel set up so if you're below $10,000 a month, you can still book in, but we don't let Meta know about that because we only want to reward Meta with a result if they actually fit our mold of a buying ready client that already has motion and they're already making at least 10K, right? So as you can see here, we're spending significantly more on this bottom campaign. There was a time and place where they were running side by side with more similar spend, but the standing ads ad set that we had was doing a lot better. See, we got a $64 cost per website schedule, aka appointment booking, and overall average a little under $70. To give you guys an idea, currently for like the B2B niche to actually get a client, it's going to be more expensive than B2C, of course, but industry average is anywhere from $150 to $250 to actually just book the appointment, let alone actually close someone, and now you're looking at a lot more. So these numbers are absolutely great because we've only spent $1,200, and each time we get a new appointment booking, it's overall improved on our ability to yield that next client. Now, if I backtrack for a second and show you guys like the origin of this campaign, you'll see that the metrics were a little different at first. Like, okay, I will say $30 at first, stop playing. That's a little unrealistic though, so it had to kind of bounce up. But this top one, that's typical industry standard. You're looking at like, $187, something really expensive like that. What I'm going to be going over today is how you can actually kind of like push past that hump or that like hole that a lot of agency owners find themselves in as far as landing your next client. See, kind of fluctuates a little. I push it over to July 1st, and that's kind of how ads got to go. And it's important to be able to analyze your metrics, and so you can, reconfigure accordingly. And so over time, it's led to me getting a consistent $70 cost per booked call. Here's just a little bit into the other metrics in case you're curious. Video plays for this bottom one are absolutely insane. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, I'm currently running a high ticket offer, and all the clients I work with have high ticket offers. This method is literally meant for high ticket offers because assuming you have a offer over $2,000, you can essentially create an infinite feedback loop. See, I haven't even reached $2,000 yet, but I've already been on 18 sales calls. So, and I've closed a few sales from them. So I think I've made something like a 10, 12x return off of this campaign alone. So, results are there. It's more so about continuing to let it run. And then something that I'm doing literally after recording this video is I'm recording some more ads to introduce to see if I can beat out my current ad creatives and just essentially birth a new winner. Okay, so I'm going to run through some visuals to give you guys an idea from a high level on exactly how I got this done. And I'll also explain kind of some applicable steps of what we've done for clients as well, just so you're fully in the loop so you can turn around and do the same thing yourself to start booking your own B2B agency sales calls. So the very first thing you're going to have to do when running ads is, of course, creating the actual creatives that are going to go out into the world. There's two primary ways you can go about this. You can create still frames, which means it's just a still image, words on the screen. This is going to be a affordable way to do things, but it's also a beginner way to do things. What I mean by that is a lot of people that don't have the balls to put their face out there or, slap their name on the brand, they'll opt to do this. And so it will lead to you getting some clicks to the door, but as far as actual conversions or actual people that click and then decide to opt in, it's a hit or miss. Oftentimes if I'm talking with a business owner and they're hell-bent on not having their face out there, or, at the very least, like getting an actor or someone on Fiverr to have their face out there, it does hurt rapport, especially with the online market kind of being the Wild West right now. You really have to try to be transparent. So like on the ads that I showed you guys that I'm running, I'm literally like showing my face. Like one of them, it's like a phone shot of me showing the screen on the automations that I'm doing, and I flip it and I show, and then I make my offer like, oh, if you want to get 30 book sales calls in 45 days, click the link down below. And another one, so that one's the standing ad where I'm standing and I'm going over it. In the desk ad, just like here right now, I'm sitting at this desk and I'm pitching the offer directly to you. It's just helped with credibility. Immediately they're seeing my face, they click over to the VSL, continue to see my face, booking a sales call with me, and guess what? They see my face again. So that's really how you can build a lot of trust off stone cold traffic, because they don't like you, know you, or trust you. So you got to get them to believe that, you actually have what it takes, or your offer is actually genuine, right? Anyways, all that to say, one thing that we'll always do is the Frankenstein method. Instead of just making a ton of completely random, it's completely separate, create from one another, and trying to figure out like, okay, which one's going to be a winner. How we do things is we have like a base variable that's going to stay consistent. For instance, the setting. So on all my desk ads, right, I'll show you into desk ads here. I have 4 of them. The thing that's consistent and staying the same each time is the fact that I'm sitting in front of the screen and I'm giving a similar offer. Place a team of AI agents to completely... You get what I'm saying? So that's really the thing that's kind of staying the same. The difference in all of those is going to be my hook and what I'm explaining, and then the body explanation kind of varies, and then to keep things consistent so I don't have too many variables I'm messing with, it's the same exact call to action each time, which in my case is my offer, 30 sales calls in 45 days. Then what you do, either you or your editor is going to make a Frankenstein mashup of all of these. So where I really got advanced with creating a bunch of variants, wasn't even really with the desk ads, but it was with the standing ads. I've got 8 different variants within here in order for me to yield my winner. And see, like off of these 8, it's funny, this one got a ton of spend. So we let Meta have free reign, but you know, they at least spent 10, 20 bucks before they identified, all right, this one's the killer, and then they ramped this to the moon. But essentially what I'm getting at is you want to mash up a ton of different variables, plug them all into one ad set and let them have a dogfight to see which one's going to be the winner. Another thing you can do if you want to get a little more accurate with spending is you could set up a rule. So what you would do is, so let's say you want to set up a rule for these 3 to get killed off of a certain amount spent. So let's say I want to create a rule to stop ad spend on X amount of creatives. So you're going to go into ad set level specifically. Let's just set one up for this example on top of funnel interest. So you're going to click create new rule, click next, and then we're just going to say YouTube example because this doesn't matter. We're going to have it on our one selected ad set, and then we're going to have it say turn off ad set if the amount spent is greater than $20. Click add, and it'll continuously run. So every 30 minutes to 60 minutes, it'll kill it. Then click create. I'm not actually going to create it, but imagine this now. What that would do is all of these creatives within my top of funnel, they would all automatically halt once they hit $20. You know, it's funny. In fact, I did this creative test before, except as you can see, these are all perfectly halted around $100. It's because I was creative testing this. This one ended up not being much of a winner. Again, with the fact that B2B ads are a lot more expensive to actually yield a result, this was not a winner. As you can see, clearly was not getting good results. So what did I do? Scrapped it, didn't get emotional, didn't worry about the money I spent because I at least learned a thing or two, and launched a new one right after this and actually had a winner through the door. If you look overall, guys, on this ad account specifically, I've had this ad account for a little under 6 months. I've been running ads on this specific account and see, you know, 6,000 spent. I got a couple other accounts I'm spending on, but what I'm trying to get at is like you got to spend money to make money, especially when you're starting out. Like, you know, if you don't have the buying power to put up like that, then ads aren't for you just yet. Ads are for, you know, established business owners that are really ready to take it to the next level. They have liquidity to throw away, and it's not even that you're going to be throwing it away, but you have to be prepared to it being void, you know, assuming that you did something wrong. Or a wise person once told me, you know, any money that goes to waste is tuition for the school of life, or like Life University or something like that. So in some way, shape, or form, you're going to get some sort of return. But anyways, enough being stoic on that. Let's get back over to how we're actually setting this up. So assuming you've got all your creatives, they're running, you've identified a few winners, you may have even set up a rule to halt spend, and then you can kind of compare, see the winners. What you want to do then is allow the ones that got the best metrics to continue to run, and you want to run hundreds of dollars on them to ensure that they're still yielding that same ideal cost per result. And then this is just a look into the formula. I'm not going to get into that. So what you'll do next is set up your funnel. So I want to start off by saying I hate using Facebook lead forms, and I have been preaching for people to not use them. In fact, sometimes when I'm hopping on sales calls and someone's like, oh yeah, we're currently running Facebook lead forms to get our leads. And I'm like, how's the lead quality though? And they're like, it's like a hit or miss. We have our appointments that are filtered through. So the reason, just to give you guys an understanding, the reason Facebook lead forms are so inconsistent is because Facebook's objective of a Facebook lead form inherently is to get you a submission. Now, the type of submission or the quality of the person, they don't care. They get rewarded based off numbers. So imagine this. You have, and just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So what a Facebook lead form is, you click leads objective, you click create leads objective, and then you'll do instant form. You know, this is a very basic one. And honestly, another issue with it, there's no branding. You know, it's a gray screen. You're still on the Facebook app. You put in some bullshit, very, very low barrier of entry, click submit, and you wonder why you're not converting, especially if you're not funneling them over to a website or anything after. You're wondering why this lead bank that you yielded isn't doing anything for you, because these are crap leads. So instead of Facebook getting you numbers and them appearing to be rewarded by, oh, we got this guy 100 leads and it got you nowhere. Instead, what I've been doing for my clients, we're still doing a leads objective, but instead of an instant form, we are pushing directly over to our funnel, directly over to our website. This allows us to be on brand. We're able to use the opt-in page as a firewall to filter out bullshit, because we don't want people that don't fit our mold to submit and move forward, because then, if they do book in a call, Meta will be rewarded with a appointment booking, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're doing a good job. So I have intensive firewall set up. You can't make it through unless you fit the mold. Watch the VSL. If you're still qualified, okay, try to book in a call, ask financial questions, all that. If they make it to the very end, then and only then we go back and tell Meta hey, good job. We got this lead to get all the way through, booked an appointment. You get rewarded with a result. In this case, instead of a lead submitted result or Meta leads submitted result, it'll be a website schedule result. That is what we're going for here, guys. That is the moneymaker. That is really the essence of how you're going to do it from a high level. So what this is going to look like, so after a lead has watched your ad creative, they get through the CTA, and then it'll be a learn more button objective. They click learn more. First thing that's going to happen is we're going to push them over to our opt-in page. It's going to have our offer, and it's going to be hey, if you want to hear more about this, I have a 1-minute video on mine. Say, hey, if you want to hear more about this, click the link down below, put your information in. I'll also send you over a free email course, blah, blah, blah. Then they opt in. When they opt in, I do AI appointment setter integrations as part of my service delivery. So of course I'm going to be using that here as well. So we've got an AI appointment setter that reaches out over SMS, tries to appointment set the lead in case there's any drop off. Because, with anything in marketing, it being a numbers game and all, not all 100% of opt-ins are going to convert to a booked call, obviously, right? There's going to be some window shoppers, going to be some people that maybe were a little busy. They wanted to see about it. Maybe they just wanted the email course. So that's where the AI appointment setter comes in to help increase overall conversion rates and push them over to a booked call. But ideally, if we have a slam dunk lead, then we're pushing them over to the VSL. It's then tripping up our metapixel, now denoting that lead opted in, and they're a little more warmed, but we're specifically not letting Meta know too much about this yet. What I mean by that is we have a conversions API set up within our Go High Level account. So specifically when someone books into our calendar, that's when we're triggering our pixel to go back and tell Meta, hey, you did a good job. Here's the lead's information. They booked in a call. Take this information, go find more people exactly like this. So over time, if you can imagine, so for me, for instance, I've got 18 different leads that I now have all their information, and I'm building a very, very strong pixel. It took $1,250 to build this pixel, but the lifetime value and the potential is, it well surpasses the overall money I put in, especially since I've already done a 10, 12x return on this. I'd be an idiot to shut it off, right? I'm not shutting it off. In fact, I'm trying to improve upon it and hopefully help you guys, improve upon your own. Anyways, so data collection, appointment setter, push them to the VSL, CTA to book a call with me. Once they've booked in the call, we train our pixel, Meta gets rewarded, and the call is booked, right? So to look into kind of how we were doing our actual creatives in order to push them into that funnel. So we ran those two objectives. So we had our standing ads, that we'll call that one, this one here, and then our desk ads. So at first, on our standing and desk ads, I was running them on equal ad spend. As you can see, my standing has way more variance in it. So I was running 8 creatives here, 4 creatives here. So I think at the start it was $30 spent here, 20 spent here, just because this one had more volume, needed more money to run it. But the standing ads started significantly surpassing. So I ended up moving budget to $40 and then an extra 10 here. Now, the reason I didn't straight up just shut off the desk ads, despite them not performing as well, is because there's also such thing as creative exhaustion. And if the same people keep seeing the same one ad, as far as brand awareness and just professionalism, it gets a little annoying when you see the same ad. So this helped me to get a little bit more of variation, but even then, my frequency has been creeping up a little bit, and that's what happens when you run an ad for a while. Meta's eventually going to start to exhaust the amount of cold traffic or fresh faces it's going to show it to, and show it to people that have previously engaged and all that. And that's fine, don't get me wrong, but that's why, like I told you I'm doing after this video, I'm going to be introducing new ad creatives to reduce my amount of creative exhaustion, and also for a new lead that comes in, they may now get to see my standing ad, my desk ad, and my new ad I'm launching. So now they're gonna be like, okay, I've seen this kid 3 times, 3 different creatives. Like, this is pretty impressive. Let's see what he's got going on. And then regarding targeting agency owners. So I've loaded both ad sets within here with specifications on what I'm looking for, like business owners, agency owners, marketing agencies, all that. You know, a lot of people will tell you to go broad, and I will say, if you're a rookie or you don't know what the fuck you're doing, go broad. If you know what you're doing and you know a little bit more about your audience, it's okay to put a couple specifications in there. Oftentimes it's really just kind of to give a suggestion to Meta anyways. Meta's going to do their own thing. You know, it's annoying because I've noticed how Meta has slowly been like kind of transitioning things on their platform. We used to have full free reign, full autonomy to do whatever we want, and they've slowly been like taking rights away from us, but giving us the illusion that we still have some autonomy. So what you're adding is literally a suggestion. They're going to experiment. The algorithm does know best in the sense that it's $1 billion algorithm, and any money that you put up, you're essentially paying for Meta to improve. So, you know, like I've spent $1,200 and I helped Meta's algorithm now, not even just for myself, but just for everyone else involved. And that's just kind of a part of like the economy and how the ads game circulates. Anyways, so all these creatives, like I said, funneling to the same opt-in. From the form itself, we're disqualifying bullshit leads. We don't want leads that don't fit our mold to continue through the funnel. And like I said, if someone still manages to get through and they're below 10K a month, because, you know, they may be an agency owner that I'm looking for, but they're not a 10K a month agency owner, I'll let them book in. I have a mentorship program and I have like a low ticket SaaS. So if someone can't afford like, you know, my consulting services, they could still benefit from my fully loaded out automations. And so I kind of just sent over a snapshot to them. Anyways, all that to say, we're moving bullshit leads out and we're only booking in genuine leads. And if they've selected that they're making over 10K a month, then and only then we're telling it to our pixel. And so when it funnels back over to our new ad campaign that we're running, it will continue to improve and find more people like that. So again, over time, it'll really do you a lot of good if you can start your pixel early. Like even $1,000, in my opinion, isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so at this point, we've gone over how the actual ad creatives function and where they're funneling to, how to creative test, how to set up your funnel with a pixel properly to optimize for website schedules, using Conversions API, all that good stuff. So let's kind of get into like a financial breakdown just to open your eyes on how much of a numbers game this really is. Okay, so what you're looking at here is just kind of a breakdown of some projections of ideally the thresholds you should be at in order to have a profitable funnel. So let's say you have a 9K offer for this example. You put up $3,000 into your ads manager account. So to give you an idea, off of $1,200, I've gotten 23,000 impressions and 11,000 reach, right? So times that by 2, those are like the rough numbers you'd be looking at as far as total volume. Now, of those people, let's go into look at link clicks. We're just kind of double the numbers for the sake of this. So link click. Okay, so we've gotten 400 link clicks through the door, and then unique link clicks, we've gotten 350. So we'll call it that. So let's say we get about 700 people that are clicking over to your landing page. Of those 700 people, ideally, you want a opt-in rate of anywhere from 10 to 15%. If you have 15% opt-in rate, you're golden. What I've usually seen is like 8 to 12% is a typical range specifically for B2B. So let's do the numbers on that. So let's say 700 people times, we'll be modest, we'll say just 10%. So that's 70 people right now. And I know we started from a broad bunch, but remember, this is the firewall. The opt-in is the firewall. We really don't want people booking in unless like they fit our mold. So because of that, we have to be aggressive here. So if you get this far, ideally you want to be at roughly a $5 to $15 cost per lead, but it ultimately varies. If there's one thing to not get too hung up on, it would be your cost per lead. It should be your cost per booked call, right? That's the main objective here because that's where the sales are going to be yielded. Like I said, industry average for B2B is $150 to $250, but I don't want you guys to be shooting for those kind of numbers because you can do better. As I just showed you, like for some of my clients even, we've gotten them down to $40 cost per booked calls. So, you know, ideally off of $3,000 spent, if you can divide $3,000 into like an $80 cost per booked call, that's 37 calls. Or in my instance, let's see, so I spent $1,250 and I've gotten 18 qualified calls. So yeah, $69 cost per qualified call. That's the numbers you want to be at. Now, sales, that's definitely going to be on you. I don't know how your sales system works, but ideally you have at least a 20% close rate because these are qualified people. And I'll show in a second how you can kind of get into some post-booking but pre-call information to warm the lead, educate them a little more so they come buying ready. That'll push you a long way too. Now, assuming you've made it this far, you've had dozens of different calls, you ought to close at least a couple clients, right? If you don't, then there's likely an issue with your sales or with your product you're selling. But let's say you close 2 clients off that, you made 18K off of an initial 3K investment. I know this is theory we're talking right now, so to give you more applicable on what I've actually done. So for my consulting services, for AI automation, helping run ads, funnel building, the whole 9 yards, spending $1,250. So from putting up $1,250, I made about $18,000 in revenue from my clients. And so if we divide that, so I had a 14x return, better than I thought. 14x return. And so, like I keep saying, it's an infinite feedback loop. The only thing that'll kill the feedback loop is going to be creative exhaustion over time, and you can solve that problem by passively introducing new creatives to fight against each other. And, ideally you'll have a couple winners that are kind of like forever creatives that just continue to do well for you. And then you have new creatives you're introducing, the whole objective of trying to beat out your current creatives you're running. So this is kind of a look into how we go about post booking, right? So to give you an idea of everything that's taking place, this is also kind of getting into the scope of my services to my clients. So the only manual tasks that are taking place, guys, are top of funnel, pressing publish on your ad campaign, posting organic content, or plugging in a lead list, and bottom of funnel, joining your fucking sales call. Everything else in between is automated if you do it right. So we're going to be talking about specifically the ad traffic side of things today, but it all funnels the same place nonetheless. So with ad traffic, immediately push them over to a landing page, our own landing page. Firewall is set up to where leads only opt in if they're qualified. Data collect their information, name, email, phone number, and this data collection allows us to immediately integrate our AI scale agent system that's going to talk with leads over SMS, email. We also do like Instagram and Facebook, all sorts of awesome shit. So we'll qualify our leads, talk with them, send follow-ups if they stop responding with the whole objective of booking the sales call. And then we'll also have a small group of leads that immediately book in a call with us, in which we're going to update our pipeline accordingly. We're going to go to the thank you page, trigger our Meta Pixel, Conversions API, reward Meta with a website schedule for doing a good job getting us a qualified lead. And then from there, it falls into our pre-call automations. So we're going to be sending out SMS and email reminders, of course, to make sure that they show up to the appointment. And then something that we'll also do is, so we have like a fleet of AI appointment setters typically, depending on the messaging channel, so the AI has full context on what's going on. We'll even set up a post-booking AI, and the whole job there is to send over pre-call videos, act as a point of contact, so if the lead does have any information, so if the lead does have any questions or request more information prior to the actual meeting, AI will be there to handle that, kind of do FAQs. Like I said, you could even send them over like YouTube videos or something. It really depends on your use case. And then push them to the sales call and close the client. Now, I know I went over a lot today, but I hope that this helps, guys. Again, like, we're currently practicing what we preach. We're using this method in order to get our clients. I've shown you the results. Highly recommend you giving this a try. And if you're a marketing agency, highly recommend trying this out for your own clients. Again, the old way of doing things is Facebook lead forms. Those were really trendy in like 2024. We're halfway through 2025 now, guys. Do not get stuck in the old way of doing things or getting complacent because, oh, it worked for me in the past. We got this result a couple years ago. Things are changing in the sense that the online marketplace is getting so much more competitive. And it's just the nature of it. So many kids are trying to start online businesses right now. So you have to have more credibility than ever. And every little edge, even if it gives you only a couple percentage, and you have to have an edge. So even if, doing these little things yields you a couple more percent worth of like opt-in, you need to be doing anything that gives you an edge. So even if little tweaks like this, so adding different copy on your landing page or trying out different creatives, if these little things only move the needle a couple percent, that can really make or break your agency when it comes to selling online. So I can't stress enough how important it is that you have things like this set up so that you're actually getting genuine leads coming through the door. You're not wasting money on ads, and you're actually able to scale passively because, appointment bookings are just coming in. The best place to be is when you're just passively working on other shit and then you get a notification that you got an appointment booking. Like, I've got an automation set up to text me whenever I get an appointment booking. Look at this, guys. These are all booked appointments coming to my sales calendar from this ad that I'm running. And this has been happening for a couple weeks now. Like, it's absolutely awesome, and I want you guys to get to the same place. So that being said, I'm going to go and leave my Instagram link down below. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer them. And also, if you're an agency owner or consultant, I have an offer for you. If you want me and my team's help setting this up for you, setting up your ad strategy, setting you up with an AI appointment setter to nurture your leads and book more sales calls, and overall get you to the next level with strategy and a full loadout of automations, my team is currently guaranteeing 30 booked sales calls in the next 45 days of working with us integrating our AI scale agent system. And the best part is you'll have full 100% ownership of everything we'll build for you. The idea is we're building you a vehicle for you to continue to use month over month. This is a build and release offer. I'm not here to take a monthly service fee or anything like that. The whole idea is to set you up one and done, and you'll be good to go to continue going after clients on your own. But yeah, guys, that's all from me. I really hope you found this video valuable. I enjoy being transparent with you guys. That's kind of just the whole vibe of this YouTube channel that I started in the first place. I'm trying to go against the grain, be fully transparent, and actually give you guys the sauce that these gurus aren't talking about. And on that note, I'll see you on the next video.